Boss Rush Video Game Book Club is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia to see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first ever Boss Rush Podcast Book Club here on Boss Rush Media and the Boss Rush Network. I am your host, Corey Deering. And alongside me on this magical journey through Hogwarts Legacy is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klein.
Expelliarmus! Woo! I don't know why I picked that spell of all things, but...
It's Leviosa.
Not Leviosa.
Not Leviosa.
This is a...
No wonder she hasn't got any friends.
This is a momentous day, my friends. Happy to be here to talk about a great game.
It is. This game is wonderful. We have two wonderful people to talk about it with. First off, you know him formerly of Crossroads, but now of Scrambled Rambles is none other than Placed Austin himself, Austin Campbell.
Do the Hogwarts points count like the Whose Line Is It Anyway points? Are they the same system?
Completely arbitrary.
That's what I thought. I could never find that in the
No,
lore,
you need to win the House Cup.
So I could do the Irish drinking song or the hoedown?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm down with that.
Yep. That's actually what happens if you get the perfect ending. That's what happens. The whole cast does.
I get to do a hoedown with. I get to do a hoedown with old Drew Carey, fat Drew Carey.
Yeah, fat Drew Carey, not skinny. What's that show he's on now with the big wheel, Full Blood?
Price is Right.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, we don't.
That big wheel is actually.
Right,
that big wheel is actually Bob Barker's casket. His body's just going to be put in there. They're going to freeze him like Walt Disney and put him in the big wheel. Also joining us is the legend, we'll say, Pat Klein from EXPcast.
Oh, hello. I wasn't aware that there was supposed to be a book to this.
You're fine.
I'm fine? Okay.
We're going to wing it.
I can still be in the book club, even though I didn't
Look, there's 7 books and 3 spinoffs, and you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay.
You know, all that stuff.
Thank God.
No, I've actually
no
read,
books
I've
in
read
this
the
book
Harry Potter
club.
books. I'm just messing with the name. It's cool.
I've actually thought about going back and reading them again after playing this game, just to try to pick up on some of the Easter eggs, because I know that they're in there. But anyways, I guess we should probably explain what we're doing. We're doing a book club review / spoiler discussion called Boss Rush Book Club. Every month we're going to pick a different game, or it is a game like Hogwarts Legacy, and then I think we'll probably do Tears of the Kingdom too, I'm assuming. Probably do multiple episodes on the same game.
Wait, what's that?
So that's kind of what we're doing. If you're familiar with the group Min-Max, their Deepest Dive show, that's kind of similar. We're gonna talk up through the first trial for Hogwarts Legacy. The first 10 minutes will probably be impressions without spoilers, and then we will give you a spoiler warning to get out if you haven't made it to the first trial.
Out of here.
But this first episode we're going to cover up to the first trial. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. That's the setup, and it's going to be this group hopefully the whole way through. Maybe we'll get an extra face in here, maybe not, but we're not going to do any kind of what do you call it, trigger warnings or whatever. Like, we decided to do Hogwarts Legacy as the first game. I know people have issues with the game. This episode is not probably for you, so we're just going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about the controversy surrounding the creator. We're not going to talk about any of the other issues that may or may not be going on. We're going to talk about the game, strictly about the game, and we're going to base our discussion on the merits of the game and the studio, Avalanche, and yeah, that's
The
it. That's all
game,
we're
the
saying
game,
about it.
and nothing but the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, first off, initial impressions of Hogwarts Legacy. Stephanie, you popped right up. You're going first.
Well, it's so gorgeous that I can see Professor Hecat's pores. That's how amazing these graphics are. That aside, I'm in the middle of writing our actual game review for the website, and one of my screenshots of a hippogriff flying through the air is probably going to be my featured image, because not only is it's just beautiful, but like the details down to the hippogriff's feathers, the Hogwarts castles in the background, I can see every literal brick there. So, one of the first knee jerk reactions I have if someone were to ask me, what do you think of Hogwarts Legacy? It is a stunning game. I could tell a lot of love and attention was put in by Avalanche, because you can go through it's a living, breathing place. It's one of the few games that I feel like I've entered another world, literally. Not just, oh, we're putting this wall here and a random NPC walking back and forth here. I mean, you've got paintings that are moving and people having conversations. Walking through Hogsmeade is a treat. Um, and I guess the last piece of why I think so highly of the game, granted no game's perfect, is that I do feel that, first of all, Harry Potter fans obviously will enjoy this, but I feel like anyone who's never read a Harry Potter book, who just happens to pick up this game, would equally enjoy it. I feel like this is a game that can be enjoyed by everyone, and that, I think, would be considered a success in my eyes.
Yeah, it's so you guys are all playing on PlayStation, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the only one playing on Xbox. Okay. Yeah, this game is incredible. I played the first 10 hours or so on performance mode because I wanted them super frames, I had it at uncapped on performance, and it was getting about 70 to 80 frames inside and definitely over 60 outside. And then I switched it to fidelity with ray tracing, and it was still clocking in at over 40 frames a second, which you could definitely tell the frame dip, but like I thought it looked good in performance mode, and then when you turn it on fidelity mode, it gets way nicer,
Mm-hmm.
way nicer. You can see obviously the god rays through the window and actually reflecting off some of the puddles on the floor. The candles flickering in the mirror, like the mirrors have proper reflections. Like this game's pretty incredible. Avalanche did a great job on this game. If you don't know, Avalanche did Disney Infinity, was like their claim to fame, if you will. They also did Cars 3 Driven to Win, the racing game that came out. It was the last notable title on the Wii U, if you want to pinpoint about how long ago that came out.
Didn't they also do the Just Cause series? Isn't
No,
that
this is
Avalanche?
the other. That's the other Avalanche. There's two
Oh,
Avalanche
okay.
studios. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah. So yeah. Pat, what are you thinking so far? I think you've probably sounds like you've played the most out of all of us, especially with your cool cloak that you were showing off in our Discord chat.
This game has exceeded all my expectations for this game. Like, out of all the releases I was anticipating for February, this was not one that I was going to say, oh, this might be the best one.
Mm-hmm.
I was reserving that for Like a Dragon, Ishin.
Oh, right.
But no, this is everything I would have wanted in a Harry Potter game. Like, when I read the Harry Potter books, I wanted to go to Hogwarts. I wanted to be a student, to take the various classes, to wander around the halls and just experience all the secrets that the castle has. And you get to do exactly that in the game. There are so many little nooks and crannies and little hidden things all over the castle that it's a constant scavenger hunt. And as a collector, of collectibles and video games. Like it's keeping me very entertained and making me check off a hell of a lot of boxes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Every time I see one of those floating pages flying through the air, or like, side tangent about the pages, like, the ones that are kind of invisible and then they get that little gold glare on them and then they disappear again.
The Revelio pages.
I did not know you could do that. I was like, maybe I need some sort of spell to do this. And then I accidentally hit Revelio, like, just on accident, because I was taking a sip of something and I dropped my controller and I hit it. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a page there. That's how you get those pages. I'm an idiot.
I hit Revelio like every couple feet.
Yeah, once I found that was a thing, I just hit it like constantly, just trying to be like, is there one here? Is there one here?
The people around you are just staring at you like, what the hell?
Right?
Yeah.
You're just running around casting Revelio.
I love when people are having I love when people are having a serious conversation with you, trying to tell you about what peril we're in, and you're just going, Revelio, just over and over again.
Look, there's a page. It's right over there. I gotta go get this page.
Yep. Dude,
I don't care about this thing.
I get mad that I'm like, man, I wish all the paintings had like pages connected to it. All the like the dinosaur statues, like all of these things had Revelio pages, so I could learn more about what all this stuff is. But I'm like, that would be so many. There would be so many in here.
Mm-hmm.
The field pages at first were like, I don't know if I'm really that interested, but there's just enough out there. And when I started reading them, like, oh, this is great. Now I'm just, I don't know, always looking out for him.
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for something to pick up. Austin, you haven't really given your initial impressions yet. What are you thinking of Hogwarts Legacy so far?
I am loving Hogleg very much. I'm
the Hogleg.
Yeah, Hogleg. Let's go.
Fellow DD listener, I hear.
I'm really liking it a lot. I haven't felt connected to a world like this. I can't think of the last one for sure, but like this gives me the Arkham Asylum type vibes, where I really like feel like I'm inside Hogwarts. I really felt like I was inside Arkham Asylum. I kind of wish that Arkham Asylum could get remastered now to where it'd be more like Hogwarts, like kind of go back and forth. Like that's all I could think of. Like, man, a Batman game inside Asylum where it was this much detailed everything.
Suicide Squad's coming out this year. We might be getting something equivalent.
Let's hope.
Don't get my hopes up
with that battle pass.
Don't get my hopes up. But I'm loving it. I love the combat is different and interesting. There's no melee. That's a crazy thing to think about. Like it's all wand movement. And
but what are you gonna do? Whip out your broom and smack people with your broom?
Yeah, listen. I see. This is the issue we were talking about before the show. The only thing I don't like is I can't speak in an American accent. Because as an American, I feel like I should be able to punch people too.
But you have various pitches of English accent. Yeah. You can either be high English, like hello, or low English, like hello.
When I was doing the character creator, I was with my wife, and I was like, I gave you the lowest. I do not want a high-pitched voice. No, please, no. Just give me the lowest it can be.
So I actually like that. That's actually like one of the kind of weird things about the game is like, I picked a voice that's like weirdly pitched. So I'm a female character, and I picked this voice that's weirdly pitched that it sounds like it's AI distorted the whole time.
Oh wow, okay.
And that's like it's not all the time, but when she's asking a question or in certain conversations that has that like digital aspect to it, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. I hope they patch it out. It kind of threw me off a little bit, but I'm dealing with it. It's fine. I really don't want to start over. So,
no.
Plus, I saw in the patch notes that they are dealing with some audio hiccups in the Xbox patch that came out a couple days ago. So, they said specific. One of the patch notes was like specifically audio on female characters, and I'm like. Oh, well, that's the exact issue I'm having.
Well, that explains it.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
It's really nice. I like how there's been no... Like, a lot of open world games tend to have a lot of bugs and issues. I haven't run into that many in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only, like... lighting issue I found was like I was talking to Professor Fig in his office, and like it was at a specific time of day where like I don't know, the light was just shining through the window at this weird angle, and like there's all these like jittering black shadows on his face, like
Oh.
really just whatever. But that was really the only issue I had. I also know that the PlayStation version is having more issues than the Xbox version, at least initially.
What are some of the issues that they say? Because I only had a couple of minor graphical glitches, but really nothing else.
Yeah, there's some like texture issues. There's some lighting issues on specific modes. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really look at a lot of it because I'm not playing on PlayStation, so I don't really care.
I only had like one issue, and that was when Professor Weasley was supposed to follow me, and she just kept going into a wall, like inside a random wall. And I had to like backtrack just to get her to follow me a little bit and then go back. But other than that, I didn't have any problems until the last update. And today, before we got on here, I was playing and I started getting screen tearing really badly, just like out of nowhere. And I was like, this is weird. I don't know why this. But other than that, before that, I had no issues at all.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that PlayStation patch is coming out in a day or two. They said they had a couple. The PlayStation patch was going to take a little bit longer than the Xbox patch. So, if you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. But yeah, I'm loving this game. What house are we? Who all? I'm Hufflepuff.
Pat and I, we're the Smarty Pants. We're Ravenclaw.
Yep.
Yeah.
I took the test on the game. I didn't hook it up to my Hogwarts account, and they gave me Hufflepuff, and I was like, I don't think that's right. And they only ask you 2 questions, so it wasn't even that intense of a quiz. So I took the Hogwarts. I ended up doing the Hogwarts one, and I'm also Ravenclaw.
Oh, look at that!
Years ago when I took it, I was Slytherin. I kind of was wanting to be Slytherin again, but you know.
I really think that it's definitely possible that people's house designations could change over the years, because I always was a Ravenclaw. Every time I take these stupid quizzes ever since I was a teenager. When I finally took Pottermore like a month or 2 before, it gave me Hufflepuff and I was in utter denial, so I just made sure I was Ravenclaw. But like, I don't know, that means I'm getting soft.
Yeah, so on my Pottermore account, I'm also a Ravenclaw. And I was going to link it, and I was like, nope. I'm gonna do a clean playthrough. I'm gonna answer the questions correctly, and whatever house they give me, I'm gonna do it. And they gave me Hufflepuff, and I was like,
no. Well, that's the part that's kind of, I wouldn't say upsetting. I was not upset at all. But like, if you don't link your Pottermore, you just take the 2 questions. I'm like, I don't know if 2 questions is accurate enough, but
yeah, that was my problem.
Yeah. But it makes sense though that all you guys are Ravenclaws, because Ravenclaws are the creative people. So being content creators, you're more likely to be aligned as a Ravenclaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the question that got me in the game was like, what are you more what's your best attribute or something? And I put loyalty and friendship or something.
Yeah.
That's Gryffindor. No, I'm sorry. Loyalty is
Hufflepuff.
It's Hufflepuff, because that's where they put me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I answered was loyalty, and I was like, oh, Hufflepuff, just because of that one reason. But think about it, Corey, just think about it. The badger is the animal, and badgers in Far Cry 4 are terrifying. So, try to go fight one of them things.
I don't know if you're caught up on the episodes of Sacred Symbols, but they had a whole conversation about badgers and how like they thought badgers were like these crappy creatures, and then somebody else wrote in and said, no, badgers are actually like terrifying.
Badgers, dude, Wolverines are
badgers are smart as fuck. So sorry. Yeah. Smart. I don't know if you wanted me to swear. I apologize.
Oh, we swear a lot on the show. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fucking fine, Pat.
Okay. Badgers are smart as fuck.
This is not Pal fucking Block, okay?
Yeah, it's true. Although we did have a guest on the other day who dropped a cursey curse, and we had to just let it go because I wasn't editing it out.
Ooh.
I did have to slap an explicit tag on that episode, though.
Well, now the purity of that podcast is just tainted now.
It's tainted.
Forever tainted.
Now you're just as worse as my podcast.
That's fine. Austin's coming on Pal Block soon.
Nice.
Next week, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be off that Monday.
Sunday? This Sunday or next Sunday? I don't remember.
Next Sunday. Like next Sunday.
Like
because I had that whole weekend off. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another Nintendo Direct.
I mean, we might get a Pokemon one.
Oh, but that's a bad episode for me to be on.
Yep. Yeah, me too. Anyways, how's everybody playing? I'm playing as like the good kid. I want to do everything right and try to be on everybody's good side, but also I want to follow the rules because I'm trying not to be a terrible person.
Does anyone know?
Are we gonna get into spoiler area now?
What?
Are we gonna get in spoiler area now?
Not yet. After this, we'll get into spoilers after this.
Oh, then am I allowed to ask? Because I mean, I've played up to the point that we've kind of agreed upon, but do we know if how we behave towards others make fundamental impacts on the game, or just minor stuff?
I have no idea yet.
Okay.
I think I read the game has multiple endings, but it's based off a choice towards the end.
Oh, okay. Well,
so I don't think it does.
Well, I'm a goody two shoes.
Not quite Mass Effect.
I'm a goody two shoes. I don't know why. I just am. I want people to love me.
I just want to be loved.
I'm playing like I would be at my age in Hogwarts. Like I'm playing like I was in high school. So I am good. Like I'm doing the right thing, but I am also down for mischief. I'm also down. Like anytime like someone's like, "Hey, you want to do this crazy stuff?" I'll be like, "Yes, let's do the crazy stuff."
Yeah.
I was the only reason why I asked about spoilers though is because it's not really spoiling now, but you're not supposed to. You know, Professor Fig tells you specifically, don't tell anyone about what's going on. The big things.
Yeah.
Are you all keeping it complete secret, or are you letting it slide to people?
Dude, no, I've told everyone.
I've told everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did the opposite. I have not told a single soul. Every time they ask, I just avoid it. Every time.
I just feel like this is like a Horizon Zero Dawn thing where like the more companions you have on your side, the more epic the ending's going to be because they're all going to trust you and be on your side or whatever. But I don't think that's really what's going to happen. I just decided to tell people because I don't want them to be like, now we can't be friends if I can't trust you, and I want to go on missions with you, but we can't be blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, whatever. I'm gonna fly on my hippogriff and do it myself.
Let's be honest. If you've read or watched any of the Harry Potters, you know you have to tell the kids your secrets. You know, it's usually the adults that are wrong. And the students are the right ones. So
right.
Yeah, I'm not getting that lesson. I'm doing what I did in high school. Keep everything bottled in. Don't let anyone know. Keep it bottled in. Keep it down inside.
All right. So we're gonna get into spoilers now. So if you've listened up to this far and you haven't played up to the first trial or you haven't played it at all, this is your cue to get out. Get out now. Leave.
But come back. Make sure you come back.
TFO. Yeah, after you play, please watch. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and review. See ya. Bye.
Or just live through the game vicariously through us, you know?
True.
You don't need to play it. You can let us play it for you.
Yeah, also on the Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network YouTube channel, the first 12 hours of the game are on there, including the first trial. So you can also watch it there in its own playlist called Hogwarts Legacy.
There you go. That's awesome.
There you go.
Wait, who played it? Who played it?
All right. So, all right, we're getting into some spoilers now. Let's talk about the opening sequence after you create your character and you just magically appear on this random street in London, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it did. It did start very suddenly. But I mean, I was like, all right, so we're just starting the game here. we got Professor Fig and oh goodness, what's that other guy's name?
Yeah, I'm
George.
looking it up
Rest
right now.
in peace, George.
Yeah, George.
George, yeah.
George
Good
is
old Georgie.
is he really dead though?
That's what I was getting to before we got to the podcast.
I mean,
don't
I
think
guess
he's
he-
dead.
I think he is.
I think that
Yeah.
bastard's lying. I think he got inside that dragon, rode it home, and then is working with the goblins.
You think he's the mastermind behind the whole thing?
I don't trust
I don't
any of
know.
them.
Is
Yeah,
he
this is a-
Grindelwald?
This is a
Is this
Professor
guy
Quirrell
Grindelwald?
situation.
Ooh.
I don't trust anyone who wears glasses. Okay, no
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, so that
Fair.
guy, he works for the ministry, right? I believe he wanted to reach out to Professor Fig. My goodness, I'm already getting rusty.
Because Professor Fig's wife was part of the ministry.
Right, and she
And
died.
they're
Mhm.
right. So they died looking into the ancient magic
Mhm.
stuff, right? Where they believe that there is this
Mhm.
ancient magic that only a few wizards can tap into, and that's actually where your character comes in, because your character can actually tap in and see this ancient magic.
Mhm.
And then you're accepted into Hogwarts as a 5th year, which leads me to believe that this is going to be a trilogy of games. 5th, 6th, 7th year.
Oh, okay.
That could be
Interesting
true.
thought.
True. I did see an article that said that they've confirmed no DLC.
Yeah,
So,
what the Push Square article?
Oh.
yeah.
Boo.
So much for no
I
Quidditch.
know.
Well,
So now I'm wondering, could a sequel be?
they did
very
say
soon?
if this game sold well and then the sequel was greenlit, they were going to try to put Quidditch in the next game.
Goodness, you think those people will have
They just could.
the energy to put another game
Go ahead.
through all the bitching and whining on the internet?
Yeah,
Mhm.
man.
Listen, Quidditch is going to be a PSVR 2 exclusive, so you better get your VR ready. Better get your
And your
VR
barf
ready.
bags.
Dude, that unit's more than the console. I'm not going to just buy it for 2 games.
What do you
One
mean?
of them
I'm just going to play
hypothetical.
Beat Saber. What do you mean? That's all I need. I only need one game.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, where are we at here?
Oh.
So it opens up and you're kind of talking to George and Professor Fig, and you get in this carriage and you fly away. It's the creatures that are invisible except for to those who have experienced
Death or something.
Yeah,
close to death.
Kestrels, I think,
Yeah.
or Thestrals. Kestrel.
Yeah, if you've watched the Harry Potter movies, Harry and Luna Lovegood can see them. And you're flying in this carriage to Hogwarts instead of taking the train.
The Thestrals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Thestrals. And while Professor Fig and George are talking, your character looks out the window and you kind of see them. And I think you see the dragon. You see like a piece of the dragon, but you're not sure what it is.
Well, what's cool is you actually don't see them first.
Right.
It's not until the dragon rips off half the carriage.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you turn around and there you see them. You had your near-death experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like this crazy thing. And then like you're falling out of the carriage, out of the air. And then you get to this kind of island thing where you're trying to get into. It's like you're basically going into the secret patches of Gringotts.
Because as you're falling with I said Professor Fig, they opened the item that was in this trinket box thing that you were able to open because you're like, oh, what's this swirly color? Clink! What? You got this thing to open and none of us could?
Right.
There was a port key inside, and then they touched the port key, and then they were transferred to this island. Quite a lovely looking island, but yeah, just they're like, wow, what did they want us to find here?
Right. Yeah, and I gotta say, this is the first moment where I was like, "Man, this game is beautiful." The water, hitting up on the broken tower, and the sun, hitting the tower, and the shadows, and just the texture work is amazing. And then this was the first time you could actually walk around and stuff. And I have to say, the movement in this game. I know we were kind of talking about controls earlier, and sometimes when you get in a third person game, the characters feel kind of clunky or tanky and they don't respond as well as you would like. I think this game, the movement itself is top tier movement in a game. I don't know. That's just something that stuck out to me.
After playing Avengers, it's definitely way better.
Well, yeah.
The movement
I
was
mean,
like, oh man, this feels real.
I would say even after playing something like God of War, this movement feels good. Like I think the movement in this game is just really great.
Mm.
So you're kind of like walking, and you solve a couple puzzles, and you go into Gringotts, and you meet the Goblin who's supposed to take you to your Vault 12, not Vault 713. And then you get to the vault, and you go to open it, and the Goblin who's leading the Goblin Rebellion, what's his name?
Ranrock.
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 Thank you. I almost said Ragnarok, but I'm like, that's not right.
Mhm.
Ranrock is following you and is trying to like take what's in the vault, and then all this stuff happens. You go in the vault, and then there's like what is actually like trial number 0. Actually, it's because once you get to the first trial, it really like harkens back to this opening sequence, and I thought it was really cool. This is kind of like the tutorial setup of like, okay, you learn what are the spells we learned here? You learn
Revelio.
You learn I have my game on to look up the spells because I don't remember.
Don't ask me to do the.
It's the light spell.
Lumos.
The light spell.
Lumos.
You learn Lumos, and you learn Revelio, and there's one. Oh, you learn just like the basic
Levios
wand
or something. Oh no, the basic shooting wand spell. Yes, where you just shoot random.
Yeah.
Pew pewmers.
Can you imagine if you had to say a word every time you just shot the wand?
Pew 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 pew.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Pewio.
Oh, you also learn the repelling spell. You press Y or triangle, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah, because it makes you do 3 of those before the knights stop appearing.
Oh,
and I wasn't paying attention. So I was just killing the knights, and they just kept coming in and pouring in. I'm like, what does this end? And then I saw a little counter in the corner. It was like 0, 3, repel, whatever. I'm like, oh, I guess I should do that.
Yeah, which I guess also teaches you Stupefy, because that is the spell that you cast directly after repelling, which stuns them.
Yeah.
Also known as the parry.
The parry. So you get through that, and then you enter Hogwarts in this kind of odd fashion. And then the headmaster, played by Simon Pegg, the headmaster is incredible. He's incredibly like over the top serious, which makes him hilarious.
And his last name is Black, which harkens to Sirius Black.
I know. I wonder if like, I mean, we obviously have like a couple Weasleys in here. We have this character named Black. There's another character that I Diggory. The name Diggory is in here.
Okay.
Yeah. From the painting that you go, and then you have the Jackdaw quest.
Oh.
Right. The painting that travels to the other house to do the quest. Yeah. So a lot of ties, a lot of neat kind of ties. I wonder how that kind of all wraps in. I doubt they'll probably explore that much into it, like a family history or tree or whatever. But I think it's kind of neat. And I mean, you can't have a Harry Potter thing without a Weasley, right?
Oh no.
So.
And the Blacks were one of the oldest wizarding families in existence. They're also dark wizards, so I wouldn't be surprised if sometime the headmaster turns.
Well, that or like he realizes something, like he has that realization that something bad is going on, and there's obviously the bad quests or the bad spells, right? And I wonder if he's going to teach you some of those later,
right? And as much as and I do love Simon Pegg, and I love his performance, I'm like, at the character, the headmaster himself, I'm like, I'm not fully convinced about you. I can't tell if he's just being a pompous windbag or if he's going to be a dark wizard.
No, I think he's just a pompous idiot, to be honest.
The only professor I trust is Weasley. That's the only one. Everyone else. I'm like, you could be.
See,
I trust Hackett.
To me, I think to me, I'm like Fig has something to do with this.
Mm.
'Cause
That's
she's
what I'm
telling
saying.
everybody
Fig
to-
is the questionable.
Fig is
one.
the most suspicious out of all of them,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
he always seems to be around when the shit goes down.
And then he
Yeah.
conveniently is off doing something else, so stay busy till I come back.
Right.
George
That's
was probably his son. George is still alive. It's gonna be there. It's all going back to George.
All
Yeah.
goes back to Georgie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the
so
sorting hat ceremony, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think the sorting hat ceremony is cool. I like when you sit down on the stool and you're kind of like looking up at the hat, like, what are you putting this talking hat in my head for? Like, I just think those little details are super cool. And then you get sorted. If you don't hook your account up to the website, you get the you have to answer some questions and get sorted. So I got sorted in a Hufflepuff, like I said earlier. Where is the Ravenclaw dormitory?
It's kind of in the Great Stairwell, but it's not the Great Stairwell itself. It's a hallway and then another smaller stairwell that goes up.
Okay, because the Hufflepuff dormitory is actually down on the lower level of the castle in like a wine cellar where like there's all these barrels down there that have, I'm assuming they're wine barrels.
Interesting.
And like there's one wine barrel that kind of like you have to like knock on it a certain way, and then it opens up, and then you can walk in. So I'm just wondering where all these common rooms are, and like we have different. Some of the side quests we all have are different. Well, you guys' are the same, but mine would be different because I'm a Hufflepuff, which I think is kind of a cool twist.
I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's kind of talk about our favorite characters. I mean, who are some of your guys' favorite characters? I think Professor Weasley is I think she's probably like the best teacher, right? I think in terms of like leading you in the right direction.
Sure, but I have a thing for, I don't know, these grumpy old farts. I love Professor Sharp. He's the potions professor.
Yeah.
And at first like, oh, he's limping. Like, what's wrong with the dude? I'm like, oh, was it an Auror? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yep, he was an Auror.
He was an Auror, so obviously he was knee deep in some pretty heavy shit fighting off dark wizards and stuff. And I find that so cool. And he has like no BS. And in this class, like if you help one of the Weasley kids like sneak in, get an ingredient, he goes, all right, I want the culprit and the person who helped the culprit to just come on up. I don't know. There's just something about him that's very endearing, as serious as he is. So he's one of my favorites.
Did you help the Weasley
Yes,
kid?
I did.
Of course.
Oh, I didn't. I was like, no. I was like, no. He let me in the room. I'm not gonna break his trust like that. And it was I got another quest out of Weasley from not helping him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So even by not helping him, he wanted you to help break into the Honeyduke cellar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that just shows choice didn't matter much.
Yeah. Well, there's like this whole conversation that you have before you get the quest from him, like, oh, I understand. Like he said, I understand why you didn't help me, blah, blah, blah. And then actually, because you didn't get the ingredient for him, I don't know if it changes or not, but if you don't get that ingredient for him, he does the potion anyway.
Oh.
And like it explodes in the classroom. And like everybody's kind of like laughing at him. And then Professor Sharp is kind of like, you did it wrong, Weasley. Yeah. Yeah, I like Sharp too.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Professor Hecat. Hecat. Now she is a battle axe. I mean, that is I like when she just started like just shit talking Shallow. Like it's just like I like this lady.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's
also
tough as nails. Defense against the dark arts, Professor.
Yeah.
She's part of those special forces that, did unmentionable things.
Yeah.
Which is why she can't talk about it.
I also did a lot of her side quests first. because I like the powers that she gives you, you know, and yeah, she's great too. I also kind of like, so herbology, the teacher in there is kind of like,
Garlic.
are you even
Professor
old enough
Garlic?
to be? Yeah, are you even old enough to be teaching me stuff? Like, I feel like she's like 12 years old.
She's like a
Professor
substitute
Garlic
teacher.
is waifu.
Yeah, that was literally,
I
I think, like the one reason that she's in there. I was like, oh, yeah, this is that girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually
is
like Ronan a
Aerith,
lot.
and
Who?
Ronan,
she's basically Eris. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Ronan is cool. And then when he takes you outside to play the what is it, the Wizard's Court or whatever?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I got
That's
smoked
cool.
the first time I played it. I was bad.
Oh yeah,
I was
did too.
bad at it.
Yeah, I did too. So there's actually a side quest that pops up partway through that first kind of 10 hours or so where you actually play other students.
Yeah.
And I started playing the other students and I was like, man, I lost to that first kid like 5 times in a row. And then we tied, and then I beat him, and then another quest popped up and I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do this. But the Crossed Wands side quest was super cool, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, the underground fight club for,
Yeah.
And then I love when Hecate was like, I already know what's going on down there. Like, or was it Weasley? One of them was like, I already know what's going down
it's
there.
Hecate, I think.
Hecate, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we could talk about like students as well as the professors, but my other kind of favorite characters was Sebastian Sallow. I love the fact that there's like a Slytherin that's not a jerk, and Poppy Sweeting. She's the Hufflepuff that really loves all the like beasts and stuff like that. I don't know. They just both have like awesome personalities, and I love doing their side quests.
Yeah, I thought Sebastian, like, I like how they're kind of playing with your preconceptions of the houses, right? Like Slytherin, like, everybody's bad from Slytherin or whatever. And Sebastian kind of starts out that way, but he's like he's all bark and no bite, and he actually has like a heart of gold, which is actually becoming one of my more favorite characters. I kind of like Natty as well, although I haven't spent a lot of time with her, but I thought, the first couple quests you do with her, she's pretty cool. And then I also like the bartender in Hogsmeade. She's like kind of
Serona Ryan.
Yeah, I'm not taking no.
She takes no
BS
shit
from anybody. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm starting to like Deke a lot. The house elf.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I just did a quest where he helps you with gathering beasts, and you learn quite a bit about his history in that one, and he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know Dobby, but he'll do. Harry Potter must not return to Hogwarts. Yeah, who's the other character that I really enjoyed? Oh, there's this Hufflepuff girl that's like really snarky and snotty that I just hate. You kind of meet her like right when you enter the common room for the first time. I don't know if you guys would have met her or not because you guys are Ravenclaws, but she's like everybody in Hufflepuff is like really nice except for her. She's definitely what you would think of as like a Slytherin person. And everything's everybody else's fault. She lost something and it was somebody else's fault, and she kind of blames you for disrupting the flow of Hufflepuff because you're a 5th year instead of a new student, and he's just kind of like a jerk. I'm like, what a
bee.
I don't even know you. Yeah, bitch.
I was there's the girl from the Slytherin who's like got the best broom times records for all the courses. And I was like, I can't wait to beat
Imelda.
This bitch. I can't wait to beat her.
I haven't done that quest yet. I just unlocked that quest, I think.
She's got a good story too, so
yeah.
Like I'm still gonna beat her. I want to beat all of her records.
No, just like Sebastian, she's one of those that has the rough exterior, but she also has like a deep motivation for what drives her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I think the students and the teachers are all great. I do have to say though, the ghost that's in the restricted section of the library is awful. the really colorful, annoying one.
Peeves? You're talking about
Peeves
Peeves?
is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Peeves
he's
is
talking about
awful.
Peeves.
Oh yeah, Peeves.
Peeves is awful.
Well, Peeves is hilarious in the book, but yeah, then when dealing with Peeves in the game, I'm like,
Yeah, but he's awful. I hate it, and like I'm running up the stairs because there's a side quest where you have to search for these gobstones for one of the girls, and like I'm running up the stairs and he just flies down the banister of the stairway, and he's like, haha, I'm flying down the stairs, can't catch me, or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, shut the up. You're annoying.
Yep.
He does his job well at being annoying, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's like, oh my gosh, just shut up.
I know. Any
dude.
wonder that
You're
they keep Peeves, the poltergeist, at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get rid of a ghost at Hogwarts.
Good.
I don't know the history behind that.
You know, Lamont on Twitter asked one, if you have never read or watched any of the movies of Hogwarts, do you think you could still play the game?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this because I've only seen the movies once, and that's all I know about it. But I'm like, I can't imagine playing it and then not understanding why all the paintings are talking, the ghosts that are flying around. Like, you have so many questions that aren't really even detailed. They're just there. Like, that's just part of the world. And
yeah, I think this game goes into a lot of things for Harry Potter fans for sure. But I also think that this game is a great gateway into the universe, actually.
Right. Because
I mean, aside from like, go ahead.
No, you finish your thought.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, aside from like the talking paintings and like some of the other weird quirky stuff, like the small quirky stuff in here, like I actually think if you have been interested in Harry Potter and you just don't know where to start at this point, because I mean, obviously the books or the movies or the Fantastic Beasts movies or some of the side books now, and obviously Pottermore has like all these lore entries and stuff about the world, and I actually think this is kind of like the Zelda fans out there. This is kind of this is the Skyward Sword of the Harry Potter timeline, right? This is the first kind of like, this is where kind of it starts now, is this story. And so I think you could go in here, and I don't know if you want to go into research about some of the lore, like the talking paintings and the pictures and stuff. Like the pictures in this world talk, right? And you know, there's other weird stuff that happens, and I don't know if you guys have explored the castle or not, but like the castle recreation is pretty much 1-to-1 to the movie castles. So maybe, I don't know, not that you need to like watch the movies to get a layout of the castle or anything, but like I think this is a great place to start if you're interested in it.
Right. The way I see it is like, yeah, you're probably wondering like, oh, what's with the talking paintings or this flu flames or whatever. But anything that is actually relating specific to Harry Potter lore are all minor stuff. So if you walk into a completely blind, at least it's not part of like the main mission or things that you're required to know. All that's just extra.
Right.
And it is about you being a wizard in a world full of magic. So at least you can kind of, that suspension of disbelief, like, okay, well, if you're in a school of witchcraft and wizardry, I guess it won't be the weirdest thing to have paintings talk. So I do think a person could come into this blind and still enjoy, because I do think they make it user friendly to anybody.
Yeah. And I think also like a lot of the stuff that you need to know, they do a great job of explaining anyway. Like most Harry Potter fans know what the room of requirement is, but they go through this whole quest to tell you what it is and how it works anyway, right? Because the room of requirement molds itself to the user, right? So and then it's kind of like your home base after a couple hours of the game is the room of requirement. You go in there to like brew potions and study and grow things and decorate and hang up pictures that talk and mirrors and all these other things. And so yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is actually just explained for the game anyway. So anybody that feels behind is going to be caught up sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. So I got to ask, throughout like the first half of this game, there are lots of quests and side quests, and some of them involve battling. Like the first time you go to Hogsmeade, where you choose a friend to accompany you, there is a troll attack in Hogsmeade, and I can't recall if there were Ashwinders that you fight before or after, but the troll one I think was the first kind of challenging fight for me. So I wanted to ask, like, what you guys think of the battle system and technically the RPG elements of it. I actually thought it was fairly challenging. I played on normal level. I do feel like the battle system is intuitive, and I do like being able to use those points to add to your traits. I don't know if you call it traits or something, where you can upgrade your overall magic spell ability or improvements in defense against the dark arts or improve your stealth. Maybe I can actually pick your brain first, Pat, since you're a big RPG person.
Well, I actually really like the battle system because there are a lot of little nuances in this system. This game, believe it or not, reminds me very much of Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
Where it's the creatures themselves, like they're bullet sponges, but there are special ways that you can take them down, and I highly recommend looking into the collections tab on your menu and looking at the enemies and reading their descriptions, because it will teach you new ways to, like, the idea is to stun the enemy so that you can do more damage to them.
Okay.
So in case of fighting a troll, the troll has 3 various weaknesses that you can take advantage of. You can take advantage of when it runs into things, then you stun it. Once it slams the club into ground, you can use this reverse spell to actually swing the club and make it smack its head, and that stuns him. Or if you block a boulder just at the right time, then you can use your ancient magic toss spell and throw the boulder right back at the troll, and that stuns him.
Wow, you've inspired me to go back and read those things, because normally I don't.
I did not know about the second one for sure. The third one I had done on accident, but the second one I didn't even know you could do.
Yeah, that I read that after reading, like, I figured that because you get the dual challenges occasionally when you're fighting, and one of the things was throwing the rock back at the troll. So I was curious how that was done, and I read the entry, and sure enough, that's how you do it. You block it, and then you toss it. Then there's other things like people who carry wands. You can disarm them, and that makes them stunned, or you can actually kind of one of my favorite things to do is start messing with the combos. Like, you can Leviosa an enemy so they're flying, and then there's another spell that you can send them slamming right into the ground, and that causes massive damage if you do it that way, as opposed to just using the slam spell.
Okay.
Like, it's cool little things, or lighting up a zombie on fire and then tossing it against other zombies so it lights them on fire as well. Like, there's a lot of neat little tricks that you can do in this battle system rather than just spamming the attack button, and that gives you like a serious advantage over your enemies. Very much like how Witcher did it.
So I think my own that inspires me to be more creative when I battle. I think my biggest weakness, and I don't know if it's necessarily the game's fault, although I feel like maybe I know, you know what, I don't even know how they'd improve it. So on the PlayStation, you can assign like 4 spells with your X and your R2, and then the 4 buttons, and then the more spells you learn, you can upgrade and assign, like, to the left, to the down. So that's 4 times 3, 12, or 4 times 4 is 16. But sometimes if I'm like fighting so much, like I can only fit like 4 spells in one spot, but I want to do like a certain combo. So I'm like in the middle of shooting one and then moving it to the next wheel and then pressing the other button. It could just be I'm a terrible gamer.
Yeah.
But that's the challenge for me.
No, that is that is the big challenge with the battle system is that I don't even remember which ones I locked on, so I'm constantly like rotating the entire wheel around just to see the spells. But like I said, once you kind of get an idea of which spells work good to pair each other, like the Leviosa and then the one that slams people down, it's like you always want to keep those two together. Or you know how enemies have the shields. You want to maybe have like a nice mix of the various color spells so that you can break the shields that they're corresponding to.
Good point.
You gotta get that dual sense edge. You gotta pay that 150 or whatever it is for, so you can have the extra buttons.
Gross. Yeah, I think the only thing I don't like about the battle system is that I don't like that your basic attack and then your menu for the spells are on the same button. I actually think left trigger is pretty useless. Like the basic, like if you're playing the aim down sights equivalent is actually pretty useless. I wish they would have put your spells on left trigger and then just your basic attack, because I feel like you could like have you could use like Leviosa or something, and then you could swing some basic attacks in and then like set somebody on fire by rolling in, right? I just feel like that's kind of counterintuitive, and maybe that's just because I play a lot of Destiny and like the left trigger feels better in a shooter than something like this. But I don't know, I just feel like the aim down sights part is useless, and that I wish the basic attack was on a different button than the bringing up your menu of spells. But that's a minor thing.
I agree with you, because the aim down system is even more useless, because even when I'm like, oh, I want to try this spell to see if it does anything with this item, like it automatically locks on to your target anyway, so it's very rarely that I have to hold aim down just to make sure I hit a certain spot. And usually if I have to do that, the spell isn't going to work on the thing anyway. It's not going to work. The only I love the combat. Like, I really, really love the combat. But the only problem is when I was doing those those underground fights and all the characters were in a small space, my target lock system was always switching, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, the target, the targeting, the auto target stuff actually works a lot better in open space than it does in small room. Especially because like once you get into like that second and third fight in the cross wands thing, like they're so grouped together and they all have different colors attached to them that are trying to teach you how to use a different spell on the different whatever, right? And like sometimes I would use Leviosa on a purple, like in my auto target would switch to the person in purple. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is I was getting really frustrated. And then I would try to pull the purple person towards me, and the guy in red would like walk in front and I'd automatically auto target. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is dumb. But that happens, I think, with auto targeting. So I do appreciate the auto target though. I'm a big fan.
I'd rather have it than not have it, but it's like when it's real close together, it's like just a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's what your barrels are for. Throwing barrels, by the way, throwing barrels and throwing rocks, that whole mechanic is like the same feeling that I get with God of War when you throw the axe. Like, it's that same, like, oh yeah, just grab it, sling it. I love it.
Especially the exploding barrels that you throw at the goblins in the little camps. Oh my gosh, it feels so good to watch them just explode off, fly across the map. And it's so funny too, because like they're like shit talking you, and then you throw an exploding barrel at them, and then that fight ends, and I'm just like this goody two shoes like schoolgirl just walking through the camp picking up some paper and some gold.
It's like, oh, that's what you get.
Yeah,
I know this is one of the side, or I don't know if it's side or main quests, more towards like the half point of the game. But one of my favorites was I was supposed to go to an Ashwinder, like Dark Wizard encampment to get something. I think it has to do with the Goblin helmet. And I noticed that they were already fighting a troll. So I'm like, wait a minute, why am I going to walk my ass into that and get my ass beat by a troll? And I'm like, okay, maybe that's part of the game. Like the troll will kill one or two and then I fight the rest. I waited the entire time. It killed everybody. everybody. And the troll had half the health left. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll throw a little barrel here at you, I'll throw a barrel there at you, and I got some troll bogeys. Or boogies, whatever.
They're bogeys.
Bogeys.
They're British.
Yep.
They're bogeys.
Bogeys.
Just like their food.
And I did, as soon as I got the ability to fly on a broomstick, I did kind of just fly all over the fields and just pick fights with random encampments and stuff that they might have overpowered me a couple times.
Yeah. No, it's fun though. As soon as I got the broom, I just started flying everywhere. Like if I could fly there, especially because like some of the side quests are so far away, and I'm just I don't want to walk there. I don't have a flue flame over there yet, so I'll just do a bunch of side stuff and buy a broom so I can just fly everywhere. So,
I know
I still haven't unlocked that part where I can just fly anywhere. I can only fly in certain areas still.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying is so good in this game. Like the controls work well, I thought.
Yeah.
And it's neat because a lot of open world games you don't get like experienced flying. It's only really just picked up more recently. Otherwise it's usually horseback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I want to say it actually reminds me, the flying actually feels like Anthem a little bit. I know that game wasn't great, but the flying in that game was pretty universally praised, and I feel like it feels kind of like that. Although I did have to, like when I first started, my flight controls weren't inverted, so when I went to take off, I like nosedived into the ground, and I had to switch my controls. And then after I switched my controls, I did it again because I was already used to using the non-inverted controls. So
I do that all the time. I hate it.
It took me a little bit to like adjust myself to the flying, but that's a me thing because I'm dumb. And so yeah, I nosedived into the ground like 3 separate times trying to play the fly, but yeah. Anyways.
I think that was kind of part of it, right? Like hitting up all those camps so I can get money to, buy a broom, because that's another part of the game, if you don't mind me bringing it up, was the currency. On one hand, I appreciate the fact that you don't just like make you get hundreds and hundreds of coins and barely need to buy anything. Like that's something, not to bring up the same franchise like Zelda. Like when you reach a certain point in Zelda, you have so many freaking rupees and you never need to buy anything. And I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Here, I'm like, I actually need to freaking use some money. But I'll admit, it's kind of hard to come up with some cold hard cash.
Yeah.
You know what the best source for the money is?
What?
You know those chests with the eyeballs?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them contains 500 galleons.
How do you open them?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that. You're going to have to figure
know?
that out.
I can just Google it, Pat.
What spell? You have a spell in your repertoire that helps you, that keeps you invisible. You gotta sneak up on the chest.
Oh, it's just invisibility. I'm like, do I have to poke its eye out? Like what?
No.
I thought I was gonna have to like. I thought we had to use one of these spells I don't have yet.
Or like,
if you
go ahead.
If you see the chest when you're not in the chest's view, like the chest closes its eye.
Oh.
So if it doesn't, if you keeps it closed, and you'll sneak up on it. And it's, I'm not gonna tell you what happens when you do, because it's kind of funny. Pat knows what I'm talking about. It's kind of funny when you do it.
Do what again? I'm sorry.
When you do open the chest, it's just, I don't know. It's funny.
It's pretty funny.
I'm gonna have to do that after.
If you kind of feel bad for the chest after.
I'm gonna say this about the currency system. These shopkeepers are a bunch of cheapskates. First of all, I helped this broom guy with this broom upgrade, and then he's like, "Yeah, thank you for the broom upgrade. You can have it for 1,000 coins." I'm like, what? I helped you build this thing and made you money, and now you're gonna charge me full price for this thing? No way.
Yeah,
I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, that was
It doesn't matter.
I didn't have 1,000 gold coins to give him, so I was I just had to let it go. I said I'll see you a little later, I guess.
All the equipment that you sell, it's not based. The price is not based off of how strong the equipment is. It's based off the rarity. So every green thing is like 60 coins. Yeah. Every like blue thing is like 90 coins, and like the orange is like I forget, 200 or 150. And it's like, doesn't matter. Like, it could be like the world's strongest armor, but that's what they're going to sell it at, is one set price, depending on the rarity of the item.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of stupid.
I also like I don't like how little you can carry in your inventory.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
first of the game. I know you can upgrade it later, but it's like I'm destroying a bunch of green items because I'm like, I don't want to go back now to go to a shop. Like,
Right.
I'm in the middle of a deal, and
I
I don't want to miss out on any good loot.
Yeah, I probably deleted like 10 or 15 green things before I was like,
Yeah.
I should just go to a shop and sell this. But I'm just so annoyed right now that I just don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, how far did you guys get in those Merlin trials? I've done like only a couple because I'm stupid and I don't know how to solve a lot of them.
I've done 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, I've done like 4 or 5 of them. I just like some of them like I activated, but then I couldn't find like where the puzzle was supposed to start. So I was like, I'll just come back to this because I need to book it because everybody's already ahead of me for this.
I've done a few.
But yeah, I haven't like I don't know. I just haven't been able to find some of where they start, and that kind of bothered me a little bit.
A lot of them start with abilities that you don't have yet. So
yeah, that's kind of what I figured. There was one by the train station over by Hogsmeade, and like I found the 2 pillars. I'm like, where is this third thing? Because there's obviously 3 of these, and it ended up being like a pot in the ground that you were supposed to light on fire at the end. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah,
I feel
there's one Merlin trial that I just did that it's like you have to like I don't know, it's just overthinking it all because it's not even an ability that you use. It's literally the most basic thing you can think of, and I'm like, wow, I would have never thought of this. Like, I just happened to add to it on accident. I was like, oh, this is just the most like basic thing you can do. It's not even spell related or anything.
Huh. Well,
yeah. There's some fun ones like rolling giant boulders or having like these little balls, like, fly to these pedestals and like they get interesting.
Like a shooting gallery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Sorry, we got sidetracked.
Maybe.
I mean, look, we're talking about the game. It's not really, really sidetracked.
I know, but we didn't even get to talk about, after, was it after or before, like the troll fight where we kind of get introduced like the other kind of baddie, so to speak, and that's Victor Rockwood. Similar, Rockwood, Ranrock. Guess if there's any sort of rock in your name, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
So yeah, Victor Rockwood.
Yeah, Boulder Rock.
Victor Rockwood. So he's a wizard who's an ally to Ranrock. And again, as a reminder, Ranrock is a goblin who is leading a goblin rebellion. And Victor Rockwood is leading a faction of dark wizards, and they're working together. And they're basically looking for you. They're trying to look and kill a miner, which is pretty sketch. And they're looking for, what was it, book pages necessarily? I mean, they're after the ancient magic, but
yeah, we haven't even really touched on the story stuff yet, right? Like, so essentially, you are supposed to go look with Fig. You're supposed to go look for this book, and you go through this kind of I forget how you find the book. You find the book in the
restricted section,
and you give it to Fig, but then you find the map, what is the map room, and kind of like the first or one of the older wizards that is dead, but obviously you can talk to him through the painting, who could see ancient magic, has his portrait in the map room, and you kind of talk to him and he tells you to bring the book back. Well, you get when you get the book, it's missing pages. And so you go look for the missing pages, and it leads you to the Jackdaw quest, which is he's a ghost that was murdered, and it leads you to like where he dies leads you to the missing pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really random.
That whole quest is. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just saying that was kind of random. That's all.
Yeah.
What's also crazy is that was a side quest. It wasn't even listed as like a main quest. So had I like not thought about doing the side quest, I was like, oh, I'll get to that later, I would have missed I would have never unlocked the next main quest. Because that's when you're
I'll
trying
admit,
to
I was
get
getting a little spooked out.
That was kind of the weird part of the game when you're basically Professor Fig is leaving, and he said he'll come back, which is suspicious, by the way. And then so you're like, all right, so I'll just go be a student, and then you go to do some classes, you do some assignments, and I was like, all right, well, what do I do now? And then I go do the side quest, and then that unlocked the whole new main thing. And who knows how long it could have took me if I had decided just to keep exploring or whatever.
Yeah, I think it would have led you there eventually. Maybe the side quest gets you there quicker. I don't know.
I think the side quest is different for everyone, because I think for at least us three Ravenclaws, it was going to Ollivander's to find his missing wand.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I think it's different for you. Yeah.
I didn't get that
how did you get introduced to Jackdaw?
I had to go talk to somebody. There's like a small town to the north of Hogsmeade, and I met these two women. One was like she's just one of the random women, or she was the woman that one of the paintings led me to her, and then the guy in the painting was in her house. Also, he had a portrait in her house, so I met him there to do a quest, and I had to explain to the lady why I was entering her house. You know, he led me here to talk to you about this Jackdaw quest. And then for her, I had to do a quest for someone else who was missing her husband, and I had to go find her missing husband, and he had actually turned into like one of these undead zombie creatures. Ooh. And then I had to do that, and then when I told her the news, she told me about somebody else who I ended up in Azkaban. I don't know if you guys ended up in Azkaban or not.
What?
No, we did not end up in Azkaban.
No, you went a whole different route because
holy crap.
Yeah, I ended up in Azkaban to try to solve Jackdaw's murder, because the woman that was accused of murdering him is in Azkaban. And so I went with this former Auror there, and we talked to the prisoner, and she was kind of in this psychotic state because she had been there for like 40 years, and she put some kind of dark spell on the Auror, and then I had to go find the Jackdaw's ghost, and he led me to his death spot, and then I did the whole kind of I found the missing pages quest.
Wow, that sounds much cooler than the
regular version of it.
Yeah, we were attacked by Dementors too. It was cool.
What?
I didn't get to fight them, but yeah, well, I didn't get to fight them, but the Auror I was with ended up like doing this. She did a Patronus spell, and it was cool. Her Patronus was a rabbit, and it scared all the Dementors away.
Well, looks like I'm gonna have to do a Hufflepuff playthrough.
I'm telling you, man.
To do for the platinum.
Each one of the houses has a different way in finding the map house, so
yeah.
So
that's
much
why each
cooler.
one has a different achievement.
So much cooler than the Owlery. Jeez.
Yeah, and then the whole kind of getting the pages and finding the map room was kind of like a mini trial too. I had to fight all these knights and make my way through this maze, and I was introduced to hey, there's floating platforms. Why don't we pull the platform?
Okay, that sounds probably like the same one. And the idea was you made a bridge to get to the end, room. Like you didn't have to like cast spell. Okay, there are these clock things.
I didn't make a bridge, but as I completed each kind of puzzle, a part of the bridge appeared.
Okay, it's the same dungeon then. Got it.
Well, Pat, I liked that you used the word dungeon because that part almost is like reminiscent of like a Zelda dungeon. I'm sorry, it's the third time I'm referencing Zelda, but it's pretty cool.
No, but I mean, I agree with you. We kind of talked about that on the Boss Rush podcast the other day, where like the trial actually reminded me of a pretty simple Zelda dungeon, which was awesome, and got me really excited to play more.
I can't wait to do more to get into the other trials.
Pat,
how have you gotten to like the second trial yet? Have you already gotten?
I feel like
No.
Pat's on his like third playthrough.
I go around and explore everything. Like I got the side quest, or not. It's not a side quest. It's an actual mission where you get the Alamora spell, the unlocking.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it's been one of my missions now to go around and unlock everything and loot the shit out of whatever I can find.
Yeah.
Like, the Hogsmeade is no longer safe for me. I literally just steal, like, I break in and I steal everything that I can find with Revelio.
You are no
but
longer
also try
safe.
and get those little Demiguise statues.
Yeah.
So that I can get a better unlocking spell and do it all over again.
Nice.
How long does it take to get the lock picking? Because that's what's annoying me right now. There's so many doors.
You should be very. It's the mission with the caretaker Moon. I forget the first name.
Okay.
He asks you to do a favor for him, and that's where he teaches you the spell of unlocking.
Okay. So I think I have like 3 main quests open, and I'm doing one for the bartender right now. So hopefully, I think the other one.
Yeah, it's actually in that same quest line, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it's Beast Class, Moon's unlocking quest, and then the bartender's helmet.
Yes.
Quest.
Yeah, that's the one I just accepted and started before we got on. So that's what I'm on now. Good.
No, the first
so
unlocking spell. Yeah,
right.
The first level unlocking is required, but you have to. The other 2 are side, so you have to collect these Demiguise statues, and he'll teach you a stronger spell to unlock level 2 and then level 3.
Okay. Yeah,
it's kind of dumb. You just wish he taught you right away. Level 3.
I'll probably go all in on lockpicking just so I don't have to skip over any more doors.
It's worth it.
Yeah. It's
where all the money is probably.
I also don't know though is lockpicking going to change the way people look at me? Am I going to be?
No, I literally broke into someone's house and the kid was standing right next to the bed while I looted the chest. They didn't do anything.
That I love.
Nighttime random wizard walking into your house.
Yeah. That guy.
I love going behind people's shops, behind the counters, and like, I hope nothing's important in this chest. I hope I'm not stealing the money that I just gave you for your stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
No, there's no consequence to stealing.
Okay. Well, that's good. Because I plan on doing it a lot. Just gonna throw that out there.
As well, you should. You get a lot of neat stuff that way.
Depending on if you're a boy or girl, like if you try the other dorms are closed off by the knights. They're just like, nope, can't go in there.
Oh, really? I didn't even know.
I'm assuming that's what that is. Like when you walk out of your dorm and into like the main hall, there's like the stairwell's closed off by these 2 knights, and I'm assuming that's where the girls are. Because I'm playing a support character.
I didn't even know that. That's kind of interesting. Didn't even think about it, to be honest. So, what were you going to say?
Did you guys? Oh, sorry, because I had to refresh. Did you guys talk about the memories yet?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Should we touch upon that?
I've seen a few. I didn't see them all, but
not all. But I meant like leading up to and after the first trial by Percival Rackham. That's the name of the guy. A lot of R's. Ranrock, Rockwood, Rackham. He is one of 4 what they call keepers. So wizards and witches from long ago. But Percival Rackham is the one that could also see ancient magic. And there's a particular memory after one of the things that you do. Is that they basically restore rain to an impoverished and dried out village. This girl is able to see them or see the magic. So in subsequent memories, she returns as a student. You learn that her brother dies, and she's clearly upset by that, and is upset by the fact that she can't use her ancient magic. So it looks like she has ties to ancient magic to help her brother. Also note, she had come into Hogwarts as a 5th year. I wonder who else has come in as a 5th year and also can see ancient magic. And then the last memory I stumbled upon, I think it was after you complete the first trial, is she now returns as a professor. And she invites everyone to her house or something. And I'm like, something's going to happen. I think her name is Isadora Morganach. I'm like, I think this girl's going to lose her shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is how they all died, is my question.
You guys think she might be the villain?
I mean, it's crossed my mind, but this seems like it took place like a long time ago. But maybe there's some connection. I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe not like the main villain of the story. Like, I don't know if she's still alive, but I think she might have turned for the worse because of the loss of her brother and stuff.
Remind me again, when does Hogwarts take place? It's like
this one takes place in the 1800s.
Yeah, it's like the late 1800s, like 1880s or 1890s, I think.
So it's like 150 years ish before Potter and all that
about
stuff.
100.
So there's at least 3 or 4 generations in there between.
Yeah.
I think if anything, they would try to connect this to the Fantastic Beasts stuff more than the Harry Potter
Which
stuff.
I have not seen or read any of those. I don't know anything about those.
They're fine.
Yeah, they're okay.
What I've heard.
I didn't even watch the newest one.
Me neither.
Sad how much tribulation that series went through with just everything with J.K. Rowling and then Ezra Miller and Johnny Depp. It's like that.
Oh wait, Ezra Miller's in there too.
Yeah, he's like the he's like the main character, like the main plot point. Ezra Miller's the main plot point of that.
Yeah, it's like every single person they cast is like doomed to cause mischief.
Johnny Depp was also in there too, wasn't he? And that whole thing, jeez.
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
It's easier to recast his character because his character is a shapeshifter.
Oh,
so having his character recast isn't as big of a deal as like obviously the Ezra Miller's character is like the central plot point to Fantastic Beasts, and it would be like really difficult to recast him, I think. Which he's like part of 3 Warner Brothers properties that are huge right now, and just I don't know, man.
I find it funny how like this whole the Flash reveal like didn't focus that much on Flash as it did with all the other side characters.
Oh, you mean like Michael Keaton's Batman?
We brought back
and then
Michael Keaton.
Supergirl and Ben Affleck. And it's like, hey, look at everyone else that's going to be in. Oh, yeah, there's Barry Allen. Don't pay attention to him.
Yeah.
He's this movie that's called The Flash isn't about the Flash.
Yeah. It's just
point paradox. So let's get back to the girl, Stephanie, if you want to continue talking about this girl. I mean, she seems pretty central to this ancient magic mystery, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of really did a speed run of what we know so far. So again, we first see her in a memory where she is a part of that destitute village with her father and her sick brother. She's able to see ancient magic, so she does enter Hogwarts in her 5th year. Wink, wink, nod, nod. She seems to be doing well, but she's saying, hey, if I can see this ancient magic and very few people can, is there something that I can do to... It was more of her father, like help my father heal from mourning the death of my brother. And Percival says, magic, can heal like physical, like either pains or physical issues. But what the father's going through is something maybe, magic can't really do, or if so, there's dire consequences.
Manipulating emotions has consequences.
Bad consequences, exactly. She wasn't happy about that. She like walked out of the room, and I'm like, this is clearly going to come back. To what extent, we don't know. So, and again, she comes back as a professor. So what I'm seeing so far is a pattern of every once in a while there's like a person that can see and utilize ancient magic. We've got Percival, one of the keepers. We've got this door, Isadora, and now we've got your character. So, maybe Isadora is going to be kind of your mirror or counterpart. Like, are you going to end up being like Isadora? Because I feel like this kind of plot point of having such a dangerous and powerful power, hate for lack of better words, you could either use it for good or you could kind of spiral into the dark arts with it.
Yeah. If I
So.
had to make a guess, I think he messed up. Rackham messed up with Isadora, and that's why he created the trial so that the next person would be better prepared.
Yeah.
It's usually the classic story behind something like this.
Yeah.
You're right. So maybe Isadora tried to, and didn't listen, tried to help her father, and either obviously something probably didn't go well with the father, or maybe got Isadora herself killed.
Yeah.
So something did not happen well. Though I wonder what these trials of just fighting ghost knights have to do with anything. I I don't know. I just, as I was blasting through these knights, I'm like, just, is this proof that I'm strong enough? I would think it's more of psychological strength that you might need to handle such power, but what do I know?
Yeah. I think that's just more for game mechanics.
No, it is. It totally is.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a video game, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's more based on looking at the memories and seeing exactly what this magic has done in the past, so that you can be better to use it in the future.
Yeah,
is where I think the real trial is. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we want to talk about this the first trial? I mean, I really liked the design of it. I really thought some of the puzzles were clever. I'm assuming it's the same for all of us. I'm hoping. And like
boss, the giant knight at the end.
Yeah, I actually really liked how you could kind of stun him by exploding the orb, like when he was charging it up. If you use the right spells, I thought those mechanics were good. I actually found myself trying different combinations of magic on him when he was kneeling, like in that stunned position, just to play around with some of the mechanics. Not that I didn't try before, but when there's one big enemy in the middle not moving, it's kind of easier to concentrate than when there's 20 dark wizards around you trying to take your face off.
It was a very cool trial because it essentially is a longer version of the smaller things that we've done beforehand. When you find that pool of ancient magic, you get sucked in, maybe move a couple platforms. I think in this case, the puzzle included moving platforms, but also activate kind of portals, so to speak. So if you walk through, you kind of see the room in a different way. And then you have to manipulate those two versions of the room, which I found very fun to work through.
Yeah.
No, these dungeons and the boss fights, they're well thought out. I appreciate that this isn't like a Skyrim style, small dungeon that's all copy paste. These actually have some particular functions that you have to achieve in them. They're different than another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking for, if this is going to kind of be what's the next few trials, I'm very much looking forward to it. So I think that they've done a good job if I'm like, yeah, I'll do it again.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with both of you. I'm glad there's a little bit of challenge, but also it's not the puzzles aren't hard enough to where you're banging your head against the table, and I think the one puzzle I had a little bit of trouble with was there's a part there where it's one of those magic archways and you can see one of the platforms that you're supposed to pull on one side, but when you go around you can't see it. And I had a little bit of trouble there, but I figured it out because my brain works sometimes. The whole time I was playing this game, side tangent before we kind of give our final thoughts on the first 15 or so hours of this game. Like, I have no idea how this game is going to run on Nintendo Switch. Zero idea. Just because of all like the environmental manipulation, the way that like, I mean, even those magic archways, like this, the way that works, I'm curious. It's
Yeah.
just, this is
I am
game.
genuinely concerned because between that and just being in Hogwarts Castle, there are like 50 things moving and doing things at the same time.
Right. I wonder if they're doing it in house or if somebody's porting it for them. I wonder, because they were all supposed to come out at the same time, and then I mean, we're playing on current gen. It's on PC, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5 right now. It's coming out on Xbox One and PS4 in April, and then Switch in July. I'm wondering if they're getting someone like Saber or Panic Button or Iron Galaxy to port this thing to Switch, because I'm telling you, I have zero clue how this is going to run on that platform. As interested as I am in it, I'm just like, what? How? Like, how? That's the question. You know, it's going to run at like 10 frames a second, and it's going to be a visual novel at that point. Probably.
I feel like
It's
you
probably
lose
not
so
gonna be
much of
that
the
bad.
charm playing it that way too. Like I'm assuming if you play it on TV, it might not be that bad, but playing it
Well,
handheld mode, I
handheld,
feel
yeah.
like
I'm
you
like,
can
I don't want
miss
to
it.
play a beautiful game like that on a handheld.
Yeah. I mean,
Did they ever confirm if it's cloud? Is it cloud?
It's a native. They confirmed.
Man.
You know, it could probably work. Witcher
selling
3
pretty-
has one.
They're
has a
selling
Switch.
physical copies on Amazon. So
Yeah, it's
Which got ported to the Switch. It may not be as pretty, but you know, it still seems to work. You got Skyrim as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It just won't be as good.
That's why I hope Saber is doing it, because Saber did a great job with The Witcher, and they seem to know how to handle open world games. So we'll see, but that was my whole thought. I think if you watch the Let's Plays that I did, the 12 episodes that are posted already, like, I probably said I have no idea how this is going to run on Switch probably 30 times in 14 hours. So, anyways, final thoughts before we wrap up this episode. I think it went pretty well. I think this game is an incredible experience. Avalanche really knocked it out of the park for being a studio that's not well known for these types of games. A lot of love and care. You know, I think there's a few things that if they just really tightened it up, the sequel is going to be even more incredible than this one. So, final thoughts?
Yeah. I agree. There's, some nitpicky things that, I think, very rarely I would consider a game perfect. This game has exceeded my expectations. Exceeded.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stephanie. I think I went in thinking, oh, well, if this is just like, if this is like a 7, right? Like,
yeah,
I can deal with a mediocre game in a world that I love. Like, I'm no stranger to that. I think I'm okay with that. But the fact that this game is like, I would say at this point, if I was giving it a number out of 10, I would probably give it like a 9 right now. I absolutely love this game. I haven't felt this sense of wonder and excitement to play. Like, as soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna go play. Like, I mean, I have already turned it on to play it. But like, I was talking to my wife because I was like, man, this game's really cool. You should I made her watch some of it. She was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And she's not like into games, and half of me thinks she was just saying that because she knows that I like it. And I'm like, oh yeah, but like, I don't know. I haven't felt this way about a game of just wanting to keep playing and explore and do everything since probably since Breath of the Wild, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just enamored with the world.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, we'll go to you next.
Well, it's definitely maybe the best PS3 game I've ever played. So I think it's pretty great. I think it's like you said, I was expecting, maybe a pretty decent game. I was like mid-level expectations, like a Mad Max or like a Shadow of Mordor. I was like waiting for those kind of like that kind of feeling, but it actually was even better than I thought, and I can't wait to keep playing. Like this is the first open world that's got me like engaged in a while, because and I can't even think. I think Red Dead 2 might have been the last open world that I was really engaged in, and this one's finally got my attention there. So I'm very excited to keep playing this game. Keep playing this game.
Pat, final thoughts?
Yeah, I love this game. This game recreates the magic of Harry Potter for me. It's like watching a movie or reading the books and literally being there at Hogwarts, doing everything that you can do at Hogwarts. I love the fact that the seasons changed from summer to fall, and I wonder if it's going to do the same thing to winter. I loved how the castle got decorated, just kind of like in the movies and the books, like all the pumpkins and stuff around the place. I hope the same thing happens with Christmas and winter. I don't know if it does, but that would be awesome. It's just this game is gorgeous. It is magical. It is, I mean, it's amazing just what this game does.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, especially because as someone who like really, I'm not like a Harry Potter super fan or anything, but I really love the movies and the books. And as my wife and I were, not that the Fantastic Beasts movies are bad by any stretch, right? But they didn't capture the magic of those original movies or the books, right? And I think there's something about I think there's just something about being at the school and being around, and I think kids make the experience more magical, if that makes sense, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
just watching the kids grow up and interacting as students. And we kind of touched on this topic in an episode of After Dark, right? Of like why is going back to school and interacting with children like nostalgic, right? Like why
Right.
games like Persona and stuff are really popular. Uh and it's like, not in like a creepy way, right? But just like the innocence of a child is like there's something magical about that and the school life. And that's what makes the first movies and books so great, I think, is that you're seeing it through the eyes of a child and watching them grow up and be friends, and not just like going out and murdering people, but just being kids and being friends and being like going through not just uh dark magic adventures, but like,
Yeah.
oh well, I have a crush on this person, or we're late to class, oh we lost points because oh we're on the sports team, right? Like there's all these different things that make that whole world an experience. And like I really hope they add Quidditch to the next game, or like I hope they get the green light to make a sequel, which by all these numbers I'm assuming that the sequel is inevitable, right? So yeah, this game is just magical and really recaptures what I think the first movies and books did. And it really transports you there, and I love it. So.
What I would like to see in a sequel, I mean, I don't know how this is going to end, but I worry that if they make a sequel, it's not going to have the same magic because we have already explored Hogwarts. I would almost want to see the sequel in a different magic school.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
go to either America or go to the one that they were talking about in Africa.
Oh,
So what would be cool to do that? The Triwizard Tournament.
Yeah.
And it's hosted at a different school, because the tournament is hosted at a different school every year.
Yeah.
Or every,
that would be cool.
4, 5, 10 years, I don't remember. But like that would be cool, and the time period is about right for like a Triwizard Tournament. Just throwing that
I
out
like
there.
this train.
I'll be down for that.
Avalanche, you can have that idea. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. I want to thank everybody for watching this first Boss Rush Book Club. This was fun. I'm excited for the next one. I'm excited to keep playing and finish it up and see if we need 2 more episodes or 1 episode. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But Stephanie,
this is a great first game.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I know. Stephanie, Austin, Pat, thanks for your time tonight. As always, Pat, where can we find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me right at the Boss Rush Network. I am part of the network group of the EXPcast, which is a video game podcast where we talk about video games. And I'm joined by my man Stoy that I've known for a while, and newcomer Steph is also part of the crew.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we tolerate her. She's okay.
Yeah.
I know. We all tolerate her. It's fine.
Yep. So that's where you can find me.
Cool. Austin, where can we find you?
Y'all can find me at PlayStaustin on Twitter. And then if you like just random bull crap, you listen to Scrambled Rambles. It's just me and my lifelong friends talking all kinds of nonsense. And it's honestly just it's just a fun podcast. Like we make ourselves laugh. Like there's a lot of laughter going on in the show because might be also tipsy half the time, but it's just a good time. And then you'll see me on I try to be. I would love to be on other podcasts. I know I'm gonna be on Pal Block soon. My schedule is rough, but as far as waking up wise, I don't get to be on it very often, but I can't. I'm still around. I'm still around on the Boss Rush block. See me,
Stephanie.
People can find me on the internets at Klimov, KLIMOV_author on Twitter and Instagram. Articles on bossrush.net. Keep your eyes peeled for a Hogwarts Legacy game review. And you'll hear my voice on various podcasts in the network, as you might have kind of already heard from Pat and, Corey. I'm with him on Boss Rush and After Dark.
Yeah. And you can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Boss Rush podcast, Nintendo Power Block, and various other things here on Boss Rush Media and the Boss Rush Network. I want to thank everybody so much for watching and or listening. We'll see you next month for another Boss Rush Book Club. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Dierig. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LaRon Dawkins, and Edward Varnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXPcast. You can find LaRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Power Block. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Corey in HD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Power Block. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.